Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And by you. Support the channel today and help us remain 100% independent. Welcome back to another episode of TEN Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. We start today's show with the official reveal of the newest all-electric model from Renault's performance brand, Alpine, the Alpine A390. Unveiled in Dieppe, France, the A390 is the second model in Alpine's Dream Garage lineup after the A290 and ahead of the upcoming A110. Built on the same platform as the Renault Scenic and Nissan Ariya, it features a tri-motor setup, two at the rear, one at the front, with 400 horsepower or 298 kilowatts at the wheels in the GT and 470 horsepower or 351 kilowatts for the GTS. The latter does the stoplight sprint in 3.9 seconds. It comes with a 400-volt, 89 kilowatt-hour battery, regen paddles, vehicle-to-grid and vehicle-to-load support, and up to 190 kilowatt DC fast charging. Alpine is targeting a WLTP range of up to 555 kilometres or 345 miles with standard 20-inch wheels. Sales begin in the fourth quarter, starting with a limited edition launch variant. Pricing has yet to be announced. While we're on the subject of new models, Kia has announced its 2026 model year EV9 lineup with some key tweaks and noticeable price changes in the US. For 2026, the US EV9 gets NACS as standard along with AC adapters for J1772 and in ZEV states, CCS. There's a modest range boost across the board and the new Nightfall edition joins the Land trim, while the GT line gains two new two-tone paint options. Dual motor models now feature terrain mode instead of the previous model year's four-wheel drive mode, offering mud, snow and sand traction. Most importantly, the EV9 is built in the US, making it eligible for tax credits and, depending on trim, up to $2,000 cheaper than last year. Also refreshing its lineup for the next model year is BMW, which detailed tweaks to its i4 family this week. This includes a new range-topping higher performance variant. As with other recent BMW models, the i4 gained new silicon carbide semiconductors inside its power inverter, boosting both performance and efficiency. BMW says this adds up to 22 kilometers or about 14 miles of extra range and improves efficiency by 4.5%. At the entry level, the i4 eDrive 35 gets a WLTP range of 428 kilometres or 266 miles, while the i4 eDrive 40 stretches to 510 kilometres or 317 miles. The updated i4 M60 xDrive now offers 42 kilowatts more power at the wheels than before, which cuts its stoplight sprint to just 3.7 seconds. Also new for the year is BMW's digital key system, which includes a setup and service card to help owners pair their phones for unlocking, locking and powering on. Pricing to follow. Insolvent battery cell manufacturer Northvolt officially announced this week that it's discontinuing cell production at its main facility in Skellefteå in Sweden. To date, the plant has only produced cells for one client, truck maker Scania, but with Scania now using an alternative supplier, the facility will close. Around 900 people are expected to lose their jobs when production ceases at the end of June. Meanwhile, a separate legal entity, Northvolt Germany Topco GmbH, appears to be in better shape. It is not currently insolvent, and the company says it's in talks with investors to continue building its first factory located in Heide, Germany. The subsidiary hasn't disclosed potential clients or investors, but it's worth noting it has received a convertible loan from the German federal government worth around 600 million euro, so there's a clear incentive for the state and taxpayers to see this succeed. 11 member states and their governors from the US Climate Alliance have launched the Affordable Clean Cars Coalition to help sustain the nation's transition to cleaner, more affordable cars. While the wider alliance includes 24 governors representing over 55% of the US population and more than 60% of the US's GDP, the coalition, made up of California, Colorado, Delaware, Maryland, Maine, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, and Washington State, issued a statement criticising the current federal government and congressional Republicans. They say leaders on Capitol Hill are putting polluters over people and, quote, creating needless chaos for consumers and the market. The coalition plans to defend states' authorities under the Clean Air Act, share best practices and collaborate with the industry to continue to progress towards a cleaner vehicle fleet. We're going to watch this coalition's progress with interest. In related news, California has announced it will take the federal government to court over the Senate's decision to use the Congressional Review Act to end the state's EPA waiver under the Clean Air Act. This waiver gives the state free rein to set tighter emission standards than the rest of the US. Congressional Republicans have long threatened to end California's zero-emission mandate and its planned 2035 ban on new internal combustion engine car sales. Despite warnings from the Government Accountability Office and the parliamentarian that they lacked the authority to use the Congressional Review Act to do it, Congress went ahead anyway. California's Attorney General Rob Bonta has now filed a lawsuit, the 23rd that California has brought against the Trump administration this year, accusing the federal government of brazenly disregarding the US Constitution. This case is likely to drag on, and with the federal government already targeting California on multiple fronts, it's set to get very messy indeed. Watch this space. The latest EV intelligence report dropped this week, revealing some eye-opening public opinions on both EVs and robotaxis. When it comes to self-driving tech, scepticism remains high. 38% of respondents say they're very concerned about the safety of autonomous vehicles, while another 29% are somewhat concerned. More than two-thirds say they wouldn't consider or will never consider riding in a robotaxi, while a quarter of respondents said that robotaxis should be downright illegal. As for EVs, the public trust is slipping, especially for Tesla. The brand scored dead last in the survey's trust intensity rating with a score of -16, a sharp contrast to Toyota, which topped the list at +30. Much of that shift, say researchers, is tied to Elon Musk's recently ended political involvement. It's a long, thorough report and well worth reading in full if you have the time. There's finally some good news for EV owners in North America. Public charging is now the most reliable it has ever been. According to the latest Electric Vehicle Experience public charging study from J.D. Power, 84% of public charging attempts in the US were successful in the first quarter of this year. That's an impressive improvement over 2022, when 1 in 5 charging attempts were failing. The most common reasons for failure haven't changed: broken equipment, outages, and vandalism. But the overall experience is dramatically improving, and that's especially good news for those who don't have access to at-home charging. Interestingly, no single network is driving the reliability boost. Instead, every major US charging provider has improved its uptime, and they're all seeing more use. And that's a sign of healthy competition, regardless of which standard, NACS or CCS, drivers pick. There's still a long way to go, but this is a charging story worth celebrating. Let's hope the trend continues. EVs are often targeted by EV opponents and fossil fuel hardliners for all kinds of reasons, including the carbon footprints associated with their manufacture, use and charging, all the way through to emissions from their braking systems and tyres. Many of these complaints have easily been disproven. For example, even when charged on the dirtiest grid energy in most countries, EVs pollute far less than internal combustion engine vehicles. And now a new study this week adds to that, showing that when it comes to non-exhaust emissions, EVs still outperform ICE vehicles. Examining the wear and brake dust emissions, analysis by EIT Urban Mobility, a European Union body working alongside Transport for London, shows that while EVs generate slightly more tyre wear particulate emissions, they produce up to 83% less brake dust emissions thanks to regenerative braking systems that only use friction brakes in emergencies. Brake dust is far more likely to become airborne than tyre particulates. Overall, despite heavier weights, the study concludes EVs cause 38% fewer brake, road and tyre wear emissions, and that's before you even factor in their lack of tailpipe. It's no secret that the current US president does not like renewable energy. He often spreads dis and misinformation about solar and wind power, accusing them of being unreliable, killing wildlife and spoiling the view. Which might explain why the White House stepped in this week to keep a coal-fired power plant in Michigan running until the end of August. The plant was scheduled to close this week since Michigan is producing more energy than it needs and coal isn't exactly clean. But the president and his big, beautiful, clean coal might be disappointed to learn that during the first quarter of this year, wind and solar actually made up 19% of the US's grid generation mix, more than nuclear and coal, which contributed 6 and 6.8% respectively. What's more, all renewables combined in March, accounting for nearly 32% of US grid generation, came close to overtaking natural gas, which led with 34.8%. No matter how much the president wishes it otherwise, coal frankly belongs in the 19th century, not the 20th or the 21st. And if you'd like to help coal and oil stay in the past, and you're in the US and in a good financial position to do so, you might want to consider getting solar panels and a heat pump installed, or perhaps join a community solar program before the federal government ends all clean energy incentives. And to get started, you should probably speak to show sponsor Energy Sage. Energy Sage connects you with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help guide you through the process of installing solar panels or getting a heat pump installed. And if you're not a homeowner, no worries. Energy Sage can still help you green your electricity by helping you join a community solar program. We used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers to put solar panels on the roof of our home, and their verified pros were knowledgeable and even introduced us to a great credit union that allowed us to finance the project with low monthly payments. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get started today. If you choose an Energy Sage installer, we'll also receive a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us too. Help the grid get greener, save money and support the show? It's a win-win-win. And now it's time for our news shorts. If you are a Volkswagen ID Buzz owner or thinking about getting one, you'll be glad to hear that Volkswagen is addressing one of the vehicle's biggest complaints: no cup holders for passengers beyond the front row. The company says it will introduce a cup holder accessory available later this month. After website issues disrupted California's planned second round of e-bike incentive voucher disbursements, the state has confirmed it will now use a lottery system. Income-eligible applicants will be selected at random by the state to receive $2,000 towards a new e-bike. Daimler Trucks has unveiled the third generation of its Mercedes-Benz Trucks remote app for smartphones. The app will be compatible with the new e-Actros 600 electric big rig, making it easier for owner-operators and fleet managers to monitor and manage their trucks, pay for charging and more. Fastned has officially opened its newest fast-charging site in the UK. Earlier this week, it launched a new EV charging hub with 4 high-powered fast chargings in Greenock, just west of Glasgow, Scotland. That brings the total number of Fastned sites in the UK to 33. The Australian state of New South Wales has committed to installing more than 246 fast and ultra-fast EV charging stations across the state. This is part of a new government investment worth $16.1 million Australian dollars. 5 different networks will work together to install the networks. California-based battery specialist Amprius has signed a contract manufacturing agreement with what it describes as a leading battery manufacturer in South Korea. The unnamed company will produce Amprius's new silicon anode cell under the Sycor brand. After extensive testing through a pilot program involving 200 Volkswagen EVs in Sweden, conducted in partnership with utility company Vattenfall, Volkswagen and Vattenfall have confirmed they aim to offer V2G two-way charging capabilities as a commercial product later this year. Bollinger Motors CEO Brian Chambers confirmed this week that the company, still in court-ordered receivership over more than $10.5 million of unpaid debt to its founder, is looking for ways to survive. He says the company is in talks to resume operations, but I should note the debt remains unpaid. Cargo electric bicycles used to mostly be seen in European cities like Amsterdam, but this weekend in Bend, Oregon, you'll see one of the US's first cargo bike events. Cargo bikes aren't just for hauling kids or groceries, they're becoming a smart, electric, eco-friendly alternatives for city errands and short trips. SparkCharge has just closed its latest funding round, securing over $30 million to accelerate its growth in North America. The company specializes in charging as a service with mobile off-grid charging solutions that come to you, saving you the hassle of hunting for a charging station. British-Australian mining specialist Rio Tinto has announced a new partnership with a state-owned mining company in Chile to develop a lithium mining project on the salt flats of the Atacama Desert. While it's still early days, the joint venture aims to begin lithium production by 2030, pending approval. Deutsche Bahn in Germany has officially installed Second Life EV battery packs at its ICE depot in Leipzig. The system combines battery packs from 8 different EVs of the photovoltaic solar array, helping the depot, which services long-distance trains, reduce its emissions. The European Union's Battery Pass Ready project, designed to create a testing environment for battery passports, has officially launched. Starting in February 2027, all EV batteries sold in Europe will require a battery passport, detailing the origins of their components and associated emissions. Chinese automaker GAC has launched EV sales in Brazil as part of its Brazilian Action Plan. It's introduced 5 different models there. The company aims to sell 100,000 vehicles locally over 5 years and plans to open a manufacturing plant there by late 2026. It hopes to compete with BYD in the growing Brazilian EV marketplace. European battery specialist Lion E-Mobility, not to be confused with North America's Lion Electric, has received a development order from an unnamed premium truck manufacturer in Europe. The company will develop an immersion-cooled high-performance battery with integrated BMS for its new truck client. The very first EVs made to work with CATL's Choco SEB exchangeable batteries are officially on the road and operational in China. 1,000 Changan Oshan 520s, designed with battery swapping in mind, have entered into service as taxis in a major city in southwestern China. Circle K has launched its first ever European EV charging-only convenience store in Gothenburg, Sweden. Think all of the usual Circle K essentials without gas station smells. The location features 10 ultra-fast 400-kilowatt charging stations alongside the familiar convenience store offerings. European battery firm 11Es has launched its new LFP-based Edge 574 blade pack. The battery supports 10C charging, delivering 10 to 80% in just 12 minutes when recharging. It's designed to last over 500,000 kilometers in EV applications. Ola Electric has begun deliveries of its roadster electric motorcycle, despite ongoing governmental investigations in India. Battery options range from 2.5 to 9.1 kilowatt hours. The top model hits 125 kilometers per hour, which is about 78 miles per hour. BYD has launched significant discounts on its Dynasty and Ocean series of EVs in China, igniting a new round of price wars among rival automakers. At least 3 competitors in China have already responded with their own brand price cuts as brands fight for market share in an increasingly competitive segment. Volkswagen has officially frozen development of its SSP platform for EVs, not because it's been cancelled, but because engineers have completed their work. The finalised platform is now ready to move towards production with vehicles, with the first SSP-based models expected in about 3 years' time. First Bus in the UK has opened its depot-based charging stations for use by other commercial operators during the day. Since most electric buses charge at night, the chargers will be available for trucks and buses on routes during daytime hours, helping the depot generate extra income. Mitsubishi is reportedly planning a new generation of its iconic Colt, this time as an all-electric model. Since the previous generation was based on the Renault Clio platform, which isn't available as an EV, Mitsubishi is said to be eyeing the platform used for the Renault 5 instead. Kira, a project run jointly by Deutsche Bahn and the Rhine-Main Transport Association, has entered its next testing phase by deploying 6 self-driving Neo ES8 electric SUVs as robotaxis on the streets of Germany. Members of the public can book and ride in the shuttles, though a safety driver will remain behind the wheel at all times during this testing phase. New data from Europe shows that while overall new car registrations declined this year, EV sales remained strong, capturing a market share of 15.3% in the first quarter. At the same time, new EV sales across the EU have surpassed new diesel vehicle sales. DEKRA has opened its first US lab focused on testing EV components in the state of Michigan. The facility will test physical parts as well as reliability, connectivity, and cybersecurity. This marks DEKRA's expanded focus on EVs, and it's backed by a multi-million euro investment from the firm. Daimler Trucks' Mercedes-Benz buses division has unveiled the next-generation Isotaro. While similar in design to its predecessor, it features a new NMC4 battery pack, offering higher energy density, longer range, extended service life, and faster charging. Sadly, what you're seeing is video of its predecessor. Opel has revealed the Frontera Gravel concept, a rugged take on its new production Frontera EV. It features a suspension lift, off-road wheels and tyres, traction boards, roof rack, centre spotlight and a front winch. And that side-mounted thing that looks like an off-road fuel tank? It's just extra storage. Researchers at the University of Michigan have announced a new breakthrough with EV battery design that allows EVs to charge 5 times faster than normal in sub-freezing temperatures. It centres around coating battery electrodes with a thin layer of lithium borate carbonate, a substance that allows faster ion flow within the cell. Xiaomi sold 75,869 EVs in Q1, earning 18.1 billion yuan. That's up 11% from last quarter, but a slowdown from 52% growth in Q4. Xiaomi is aiming for 350,000 EV sales this year. Researchers at MIT have proposed a new way to power electric aircraft using liquid sodium instead of traditional batteries or hydrogen fuel cells. The system combines oxygen from the air with liquid sodium at a solid ceramic electrolyte in a kind of quasi-fuel cell. The team says this could work for both eVTOL and electric airplanes. Kia is prepping a refreshed Nero with spy footage revealing updated front and rear styling. Sadly, we can't share it with you. Insiders say there won't be a new EV version though, because Kia expects buyers to choose the similarly sized EV3 instead, leaving just the hybrid and plug-in hybrid Nero variants for the new, yet-to-be-revealed refresh. Nissan is offering buyouts to workers at its Canton, Mississippi plant. The facility was initially planned for low-cost LFP battery production, but Nissan's struggles and declining demand ended those plans. Nissan calls the buyouts critical to its comeback and future EV strategy. General Motors plans to partner with both LG Energy Solutions and Samsung SDI to produce LFP batteries in the US. LFP batteries are cheaper, longer lasting and more stable than NCM chemistries, though they have lower power and energy densities. GM will use them in the next generation Bolt EV, as well as entry-level variants of some existing Ultium-based cars. But don't get too excited, because the very same week, GM announced it's investing $888 million to upgrade an existing plant to build a 6th-generation V8 engine for full-size trucks and SUVs, despite promising us an all-electric future. As MSNBC's Rachel Maddow says, watch what they do, not what they say. Europe's largest arms manufacturer, yes, I know, has developed a rugged, practical curbside EV charging station that replaces a conventional curbstone. After years of building things that kill, they've made something clever and just what we need. And while this isn't the crossover I expected, good job. The European Automobile Manufacturers Association reports strong growth in hybrid, plug-in hybrid and EV sales in the first quarter of this year compared to last. Most brands are gaining market share though, except Tesla, whose share has nearly halved in the past 4 months. The trend highlights rising competition in the EV marketplace and continuing Tesla unpopularity. After cancelling MX-30 EV production and sales in North America last year, Mazda has now admitted to defeat for the same model in Europe as well. Limited range, uninspiring handling and a high price tag made it frankly uncompetitive against far stronger, better-priced rivals. Mazda is now readying new models for Europe and no longer needs this aged model. The Greater London Authority has confirmed that it will end EV exemptions from the London Congestion Charging Zone. EVs will now have to pay to enter the zone at a discounted rate compared to ICE vehicles, and frankly, congestion still contributes to higher emissions, regardless of the vehicle you're driving in the congestion. Chinese EV rivals Zeekr and NIO have agreed to a new collaboration, allowing their owners to access each other's respective charging networks. NIO Power and Zeekr Power now offer roaming between their networks, greatly expanding charging options for their customers. And finally, for the news shorts, amid the truly exhausting on-again, off-again news of tariffs on goods and vehicles made outside the US and then imported there, Volkswagen has confirmed that, unlike some of its rivals, for now at least, it won't be increasing the prices of its EVs and instead just absorb them. But that relief may be short-lived because the pledge only lasts until the start of July. And those are your news shorts. There will be more next week. Our final 2 news stories are next, but first a quick word about our most important sponsors. You. Transport Evolved is celebrating its 15th year this year, and we've worked really hard to stay fiercely independent, thanks entirely to the generous support of viewers like you. We've always kept our content free to access, and we'd love to keep it that way. But to do so, we need your support more now than ever. Recent changes at YouTube, including shifting algorithms that penalise creators outside of the high subscriber club, have made things increasingly difficult for small indie channels like this one. YouTube is back to unsubscribing people without their consent and failing to tackle spam bots that flood videos like ours with hundreds of fake cryptocurrency comments in just a few minutes, requiring us to spend hours deleting them. This is driving audiences away and has slashed our monthly ad income to roughly 1/8 of what it was just a few years ago. Worse still, YouTube's deeply troubling policy change that no longer classifies anti-LGBTQ harassment as hate speech has left us and other creators we work with extremely vulnerable to escalating abuse. This impacts our safety, our income, our mental health, and our ability to keep creating. That is why Patreon has become our primary source of funding. Without increased support, our ability to continue may be at risk. So if you can, please consider supporting us over at Patreon. Whether you support us financially, share our content, or just watch until the end of each video, I want you to know it all helps, and we are eternally grateful. Now, onto those final two stories. It's no secret that when you look for a used car, you check things like service history, condition and odometer readings. The lower the odometer and the cleaner the car, the more it sells for. And if you're old enough, you'll recall horror stories about unscrupulous dealers rolling back odometers to boost car value. With digital odometers, you'd think that would be a thing of the past, but you would be wrong. After a Tesla Cybertruck owner in Oregon had their odometer mysteriously reset by a service centre, Chinese regulators are now also pressuring BYD, Dongfeng and other Chinese manufacturers because used models are showing up on dealer lots with 0 or suspiciously low odometer readings. The suspicion is either odometers are being rolled back or dealers are buying new cars to grab government incentives, parking them up and leaving them unused and unsold before then selling them on as technically used cars for profit. Either way, both practices are illegal and look bad for the brands involved. And finally, over the last few years, the electric boat market has surged, with Candela leading the way in personal and mass transit electric hydrofoiling watercraft. This week, it achieved a new milestone, the first all-electric craft to cross from Europe to Africa. A Candela C8 Polestar, which is fitted with the same 69 kilowatt-hour battery pack as the Polestar 2 EV, crossed the Straits of Gibraltar, covering 24 nautical miles, which is about 28 miles or 45 kilometres, in just over an hour. That time matches most internal combustion engine ferries on the route, but with far less energy thanks to the C8's hydrofoiling design, which apparently uses around 80% less energy than a conventional boat of similar size and power. The trip proved not only the boat's range, but also its stability in the notoriously choppy straight waters. After docking in Africa, the C8 Polestar recharged and then made the return trip to Spain the very same day. Well done, guys. And on that note, we are done for today's show. As always, a huge thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring the show. The EVA has been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967, and it believes, just like we do here, that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric transportation. They can connect you with EV educators, local meetups, and even help you make your own transition to electric. And if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program created in partnership with the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. So find more out by heading to myeva.org. Also, thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to connect with trusted, verified solar experts who can help you put panels on your roof, help you join a community solar program, or maybe get a heat pump installed. Taking control of your energy future has never been easier. And if you made your own transportation or energy cleaner this week, whether that's switching to an EV, installing solar panels, or just choosing to walk or take public transit, great job. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do that from just $1.50 a month on Patreon. And don't forget that if you are in the Greater Portland, Oregon area and you need a video production team, the whole team here is available for hire, EV or not. So please, reach out. We've also got some great new swag in our store. Our new Pride design is coming very soon, and you can send one-time donations through Ko-fi, Bitcoin, or even send us old-fashioned checks. We also now have an Amazon affiliate link that you can use to support the show. You'll find more content from us on our main channel, that's the one this video is on, as well as over on Transport Evolved Take 2. We publish on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and you'll find us over on Transport Evolved Take 2 every Sunday. To finish, remember this. You're valid, you are loved, and you belong, even when politicians, corporations, or hateful voices try to say otherwise. I'd love to say it wasn't the case, but it has been another week of attacks and horrifying policy decisions whose only goals seem to be to divide and demean and cruelly hurt others. But we all have to keep going, and please know that even the strongest people sometimes need to take a break. So it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel angry, scared, and overwhelmed. And it's okay to just sit down and have a cry as well. But your existence is resistance. Simply by being here, you make it harder for hate to thrive and for lies to grow. So be kind, be bold, speak up, protest peacefully, make good trouble. Don't forget to attend your local town halls and get involved. So until next time, stay safe, whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are, be an ally, be kind, be that change you want to see in the world, and please, for the sake of everyone's future, don't let hate or ignorance win. As always, keep evolving.